summer. What does it mean? Well, for a writer, hopefully it means a little more time writing. I don't know what to do with this intro. Hello YouTube, my name is Taylor Alexander. I am an aspiring author, screenwriter, playwriter. Basically, I love to write anything I can get my hands on, and I'm also a massive book nerd. In today's video, we're gonna be trying something a little bit different, just moderately different. The other day, I was scrolling Instagram and I saw this account called Alina Wells that posted a hot writer summer. Basically, this is 7 days to fall in love with writing again. As writers, it is not uncommon to experience some sort of writing slump, some sort of slump with a project, a period of time where you don't want to write or you have no clue what to write. As a writer myself, I've been through some of these slumps before. At the moment, not to jinx anything, I am very fortunate to not be in one of those slumps, but just last weekend, I think it was, I was really having issues getting through a chapter and really struggling with where to go with it. And in times like that, we need to have a hot writer summer. So in this video, I will be taking you through my experience with this 7-day process of how to fall in love with your writing, and I'm gonna gauge kind of how I feel about it. Does it make me love writing even more? You know, sometimes you love the idea of writing and then you sit down and write. It's like, oh my gosh. But we are going to see if this hot writer summer, 7 simple days of different tasks and tricks to make you fall in love with your writing, we're gonna see if it works, and I'm gonna take you through my experience with it. It is currently Monday evening, and day 1 is romanticize the process, which I love that idea, and I actually recently did it when I was kind of in a slump. I put on some French pop music and just kind of enjoyed the atmosphere and the ambiance of my desk one afternoon and tried to really enjoy the process, but I wasn't writing. I was I was typing up stuff that I'd handwritten, and I romanticized that process. Light a candle, pour an iced coffee, put on that playlist. Turn your writing ritual into a vibe. It's not just a task, it's a date with your imagination. Want to spice it up? You can try a theme. A Victorian writer with a typewriter. Gosh, I wish I had a typewriter. An outdoor writing session, a writing date to an unusual location like a museum or a hangout spot. So I'm gonna be right here in my bedroom, but at my desk. But I do have an iced tea lemonade. Not sure about writing a candle. It is kind of hot at the moment. A little bit humid. There's like a storm rolling in. But I am definitely going to put on a playlist and enjoy the ambiance. I'll put on more of a romanticizing playlist. I am currently working on a YA rivals to lovers contemporary romance novel. So romanticizing the process seems like a pretty good thing to do in this case. So let's give it a go. It just started raining, and for me, that's actually one of the best weathers possible for romanticizing the process. It's actually starting to come in the window though, so I might have to close it down a bit. Finished a 20 minute Pomodoro sprint, I believe, and here is the updated word count. Ooh, if I can get it to focus, there we are. 106,482. Hopefully this lighting isn't the most awful. Maybe that helps a little bit. I love romanticizing the process. I don't think I do it enough, but I really enjoyed this writing session and I think I was fairly productive. My only issue with romanticizing the process is that I really just love kind of absorbing the feeling of it. I have a tendency to stop writing and just listen to the music and be like, this is the vibe, I am writing, but I'm not writing because I'm absorbing the romanticizing of the process, if that makes any sense. But I feel like I got a lot done. I finished a chapter, so that's all good. And I will see you for day 2, but I really enjoyed this romanticizing session. The way that I write is pretty similar to this sort of romanticizing ordeal. I put on some music, I put on my timer, you know, Sometimes I have a cool drink, a coffee or something, and I really try to enjoy the process because I do enjoy the process. I love it. But I think what this Hot Writer Summer challenge sort of implies is the importance of really consciously romanticizing the process versus, you know, just doing this and making it a part of your routine. Stopping and saying, okay, I'm really gonna enjoy what I am doing at this moment rather than just doing it and trying to get to the next milestone. So all in all, day 1 was a success, and I'll see you for day 2. Welcome back to day 2 of the Hot Writer Summer, and it is hot. The prompt for day 2 is a little bit different, and it is to write one line you love. Forget the word count, forget the structure, just write one sentence that makes your heart skip. That's enough. That's everything. It says, need a boost, write the line you would want to hear if whoever is saying it in that moment were to say it to you. Oh, that's interesting. Let's go spend 30 minutes, an hour, I don't know, scheming over one line. I don't know if it's gonna be the next line, I don't know if it's gonna be right until I find a line I love. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. We're gonna give it a go. It's a Hot Writer Summer. Okay, little update for you. It's now later in the evening, and I think I did it. I don't know, I feel like I'm doubting what I wrote a little bit because it's like there's no one being like, yeah, you did, like that's the prompt, like, because, you know, how am I supposed to know if my writing's good? But I wrote a line that I'm pretty proud of. That was pretty cool. It didn't take me as long as I thought. I got pretty nervous at first, being like, am I gonna be able to do this? But then it happened. I find, for me, the lines that I'm really proud of kind of are ones that really stand out. They kind of make me go, whoa, because they're either like really poetic or really deep, or sometimes they're gory. But they make me kind of stop and go, wait, I wrote that? The thing that surprised me with this was how I was able to achieve it and how I kind of can move on, if that makes sense, because I've been working so hard on getting into a first draft attitude where I worry about making things sound pretty later and I just try and make words exist now. And so stepping out of that first draft attitude for one line and then stepping back into it, I was skeptical, but it was a fun exercise. So I'll see you for day 3. I hope this transition isn't getting old. Welcome to day 3 of Hot Writer Summer, and today I'm wondering, this actually feels like it's working. As I said, when I started this challenge, I was already in a place where I felt pretty good about my writing. I had come out of a very momentary, like, 2-day writing slump, which sounds very dramatic because, I mean, it was 2 days, but I'm really like on a roll this week and I'm really loving it. And it also happens to be coinciding with a point in the story that, like, I've been working up to. And you know, when they say, like, this is the whole moment that you base this book on, and here it comes, well, here it is. So if anything, there's probably not a better week that I could be doing this challenge. But let's talk about day 3, which is reclaim your why. Ask yourself, why did I start this story? Revisit your original spark. Let it remind you that you don't need to be perfect, just passionate. Pro tip, free write about your why in a journal and save it for later. When you're feeling unmotivated, you'll have a quick reference, why it matters sheet. I have actually heard this advice before. I've had people give me this advice before, and it's something that I do recommend. At the beginning, or when you're feeling really passionate, log that moment in your brain or write it down. But here's my journal for the moment. Let's talk about why I started this story. What was the original spark? So this was an idea that I had loosely jotted down in my notes app, actually. Back, when did I have this idea? Okay, I found it. So I have this list of story ideas on the notes app, as it turns out, even though I couldn't find it. Oops. But the last time I wrote in this document was January 1st, 2024. So probably at the end of 2023, because this isn't like the middle of the list. I assume that's like when I came up with this idea. And it's changed a little bit. It's definitely grown. The plot, it's more of an arc now. But I wrote this idea down, and this one stayed with me, and it wasn't something that like I'd revisit in the notes app and be like, oh, that's interesting. It's something that really stuck in my brain. I know I've heard authors say before, and I forget who it was, if it was Stephen King or someone else, who said, you know, you don't need an ideas journal, because if you don't like that idea, you're just, you know, you're materializing bad ideas. And so, you know, while I don't entirely agree with that philosophy, because sometimes there's things that I really do like that kind of get messed up in my brain after the aha moment, I do agree in a sense that you can kind of gauge how interested you are in something based on how well you remember it. And so this idea stuck with me for at least a year, and then this past February, it was Valentine's season, and I kind of thought for the day this would be kind of fun to try and write romance, and now I'm almost done with a full novel. The big turning point was really feeling like these characters were actual characters in a book, and in a sense, you know, as I was writing them, kind of going through their thing and figuring out if they're falling in love with each other, I was starting to fall in love with them as characters. You know, they're the kind of people you'd write fan fiction about or something. Like they feel real, and they feel tangible, and they feel like characters in a book. And that was huge for me, because in the past with my writing, I don't really feel like I've connected to a set of characters in the way that I have connected to these characters. So that has been such a big driving force in this work. I've had so much fun doing research. I've had so much fun getting to know my characters, getting to build them out, learning about planning. I'm in a really intense moment in the book right now, or it's intense in my opinion, and I get lost when I'm writing. Just, I kind of forget what I'm doing, and I get really caught up in the writing, if that makes sense. You know, like I get in the zone and I forget that the world around me is going, because I zone in and I kind of, you know, whatever I have playing in the background, I don't hear it anymore, and I'm in that space, and that's a really special feeling for me, and that's something that I literally achieved today with this book, so that's huge. So that's definitely the spark with this book. My interest was piqued, and now I'm kind of, yeah, really liking these characters. And I'm really liking this story, and it's something I'm really interested in, and I'm really passionate about taking the time after this draft is done to really shape it into something more, and something that I feel proud of. And so that is the spark. That is the origin story. I don't think I have never shared that before, but that is the origin story for this book. So that's day 3, and now that I've talked about it, I really kind of want to go get back to writing that scene. So I'll see you on day 4. That was really quick. See you on day 4 though. Okay. This setup's really sketchy. You don't even want to know. I've got a table, a laptop, a lap desk turned upside down, and then a keyboard, and then the camera. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm hoping I don't break anything. Anyways, welcome back to the one, the only hot writer summer. It's still very hot, but I'm not feeling too hot about my writing. I really want to write, but I've been procrastinating for the last hour. Oops. And I haven't worked on the romance project at all today, and I didn't do Hot Writer Summer yesterday. So it's now Friday, and I'm gonna try and do days, 3 and 4? Or is it 4 and 5? It's days 4 and 5. I'm gonna try and do them in one swing. Maybe not. We might be doing an 8-day Hot Writer Summer, because this doesn't look like something that I can do in one day. Yeah, I don't want to do that tonight. We are going to start with day 4. We're gonna pretend that I didn't skip a day yesterday. So today is day 4 of Hot Writer Summer, and the prompt for today is create without pressure. Your draft doesn't need to be brilliant, it just needs to exist. Today, let it be messy, magical, and yours. Remember, no one needs to see your draft before you're done. Write it for yourself first and worry about what others might think later. You do not know how much I need this prompt today. I need to just be able to write, to not worry about how it feels, to really just embrace the first draft attitude, which is something I've been working on for the past couple months, but I really need it today. Tomorrow's prompt, not to spoil anything, but tomorrow's prompt is all about rewriting. So So I'm really glad that today is just create without pressure, because that's really what I want to do right now. So I'm gonna do some writing and I'll check in with you after Hot Writer Summer. It's now almost 9:30 at night. That didn't really go as planned. Day 4 was kind of a flop. I really wanted to write today. I was kind of off schedule. I spent more time editing than I planned to because I was working on a video. And then by the time I got to writing, I don't know, my focus was really off. And so I only got like a couple hundred words done over like a span of 2 hours, and my focus was just so off. And I tried to like do like mood boards or character boards or whatever, and I don't know, I feel overstimulated, a little bit frustrated, really wishing that I could have gotten into like a deep focus session, but did not happen. So I don't know, fingers crossed that day 5 goes better. In a sense, I'm kind of glad that this went this way, because it shows, you know, that these sorts of things are not gonna, A, they're not gonna work for everyone, and B, they're not gonna be a cure-all. It's not gonna, you know, oh, if you do this, like, that's it. Like, you know, Hot Writer Summer, you're a writer now, whatever, you love your writing. I feel like that's almost it's good in a sense, but at the same time, I'm super frustrated. I'm tired. I don't know. I want to read, and come back bright and refreshed. And tomorrow's a Saturday too, so I'm hoping to get to really spend more time on the book. I am itching to actually get to work on this book, on getting to the end of this book. It feels frustrating to be so close to the end and to kind of have this stopping point. So fingers crossed, and I'll see you for day 5. Excuse the hair, it's a little bit of a mess. I just worked out and now I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to walk tomorrow, but it is day 6 of the challenge. I don't know. Today is Monday, and you might be going, wait a minute, this challenge started on a Monday. Well, after getting a day behind, I did something a little bit unconventional for a 7-day writing challenge, and yesterday decided to take the entire day off from writing. Did not write anything in any of the projects I'm working on, and it wasn't exactly planned. It was a little bit of a busy day, and then I ended up with a prolonged headache, and then I ended up not writing, and now here we are on Monday, the following Monday, doing day 6, which seems swapped with, technically I did day 7 yesterday. Now that I'm looking at it, it says day 7, give yourself permission. Permission to write slow, permission to rest, permission to still call yourself a writer even when you're not writing every day. That was literally yesterday. The story belongs to you, always has. Sometimes we need to treat our writer selves and our process gently to find success, and that's very true. The other day I got in my head for not writing as much as I wanted to. Yesterday I kind of stopped and wait a minute, I didn't like the way that felt. Let me not write, because that's kind of how the day was working out, and I'm still a writer today. My draft still exists, and so that's actually a really important thing to remember. Moving backwards to day 6, which is now day 7, and it's actually day 8 if you count how many days since I started this. Take a creative field trip. Go outside, touch grass, sit at a coffee shop, let life feed your imagination. Inspiration starts when you're paying attention. Hands down, people watching and eavesdropping is a great way to spark ideas. Absolutely agree with that. Oftentimes I hear people say like, oh, you know, if you say something, it's going in my book. You know, or I've had plenty of brainstorming sessions with screenwriters where it's like, okay, I heard this person do this once or say this once, and then next thing you know, it becomes a script. So careful what you say if you're around a writer. But at the same time, please continue talking, because it's really helpful for us. So we're gonna take a little field trip outside and go write. I love writing outside. I really do. I should say before we head outside, not sure I'm gonna get any footage, but I actually, this morning, I was doing a little bit of writing and I stopped and went, wait a minute, I'm literally only a couple chapters away from the end of the first draft, and it really snuck up on me. I think because originally I had the book planned to be a little bit longer in terms of the plot, but then the plot with the chapters I was working on ended up getting along. I don't know. That doesn't really make sense, but it's long. It's more chapters than I expected it to be, but I just kind of cut out like a section of plot points that I thought was kind of like, I don't know, icky. It just made things go slower. So I turned around and I'm like, wait, we're like literally a couple chapters away. So I don't know if this challenge had anything to do with my productivity in that manner, but I just feel like going outside, going on a little writing field trip just feels like a nice little celebration of that and a nice little celebration of being a writer in general. I feel like oftentimes the thing about being a writer is people, and I have this issue myself, struggle to say that they are a writer or an author unless they are published. That has completely been the case for me for quite a while, but I'm a writer, you know? I write every single day, or not every single day, but I am a writer. I write things, and it's still really hard for me to say, but I feel like this challenge is helping me to embrace that a little bit more. So I'm gonna go do some writer things and celebrate being a writer by writing outside. Let's go finish this challenge. We are back. I wrote a little bit on Monday outside, then I did even more on Tuesday. We're talking like an hour, and now it is Wednesday and I'm here to officially conclude the 7-day Hot Writer Summer Challenge to revitalize my writing. I really enjoyed the final prompt because as much as I love writing outside, it's something that I often forget. I often write for convenience, you know, if I'm at my desk, I write at my desk. I'm the type of person who just likes to jump right into writing if I'm in the mood, so, you know, taking that time to, you know, set up a chair outside and bring out my laptop and everything, I don't do that very often, and I kind of wish that I did because I really remembered how much I enjoyed it. And as you can see, I'm now on a bit of an outdoor writing streak. Not to over-exaggerate because it's only been 2 days, but all in all, I really enjoyed this challenge. Coming into this challenge, I was feeling pretty confident about where I was in my relationship with my writing, but it actually helped me to address some underlying hardships. It helped me to face a little situation of like kind of procrastination, writer's block, I don't know what you call it, but helped me to face that, helped me to face feelings of am I a writer, you know, even if I'm not published. And so this was a really nice 7-day challenge. I hope that you enjoyed this video and getting to see how this challenge works. If you want to try it out for yourself, I will link the post down below with the 7 days of prompts. And if you want to see more writing challenges, vlogs, if you like yo-yo theater, rambling about suits, any of that stuff, feel free to stick around for more videos. Thanks for watching.